honor, and righteousness. Is Mr. President so anxious to give Igbos a great gift, even if it means slapping and spitting into the face of those who stood firm and sacrificed their all for the unity of this great, for the unity of the country? I thought if the great gift to Igbos is the return of Ojukwu, that is a great reason to withhold pardon to Ojukwu, especially when Okadibo had the moral insult to advise that the president travel to Yamoussoukro, Ivory Coast, to have a chat with Ojukwu. For what it amounts to is that Biafra is still very much around, and the nation is being asked to accept its justification and legitimacy. That the president, the symbol of the united Nigeria today, should have gone to Ivory Coast and raised a white flag to Biafra to allow Biafra come home for the nation to pay her homage at Ribadu Road. Indeed, we did. That also explains the 21-gun salute at the Enugu airport to welcome Ojukwu. We are told that it was not from any of the Nigerian armed forces. Then, is the Biafran armed forces still around? Another import of Ojukwu's pardon is found in a following statement of Dr. Chiga Okadibo to the president as published in the Sunday Triumph quoted above. Ojukwu is very anxious to return to Nigeria. He is totally committed to this administration and the NPN. He felt very disappointed and even fell ill when he did not hear of his pardon by January 1982, and felt even worse that we did not care to offer any explanation or hope. End quote. Gentlemen of the press, you will agree with me that the above quotation is nauseating and paralyzing. Because what this amounts to is that Ojukwu's pardon was a right, not a privilege, and that Mr. President owed Ojukwu an apology when up to January 82, Ojukwu did not hear of his pardon. I cannot think of anything more humiliating and insulting. I am baffled that this humiliating and insulting demand to the person of our president and the nation did not cancel Ojukwu's pardon. The quotation further shows that Ojukwu's right to pardon was based on his qualification of being totally committed to this administration and the MPN, and not on Ojukwu's denunciation of rebellion and a declaration for one Nigeria as indivisible entity. Moreover, it goes to prove that General Gowon, who was remotely connected with the events of February 13, 1976, not a rebellion and armed struggle against his motherland, was made to test from the mercy cup prepared for Ojukwu, the beloved son of this administration and the NPN. What is sad and revolting about the whole episode is that the whole nation was brought to its knees in apology and repentance to Ojukwu through Ribadu Road. The government involvement cannot mean anything else. This is why I feel the president owes this nation an explanation or resign with immediate effect. There is no reason for Ojukwu to be admitted into the presence of the president of a country he was out to destroy, other than to go and publicly denounce the criminal treason he committed against his motherland, show complete remorse and repentance, declare his unreserved and unflinching acceptance, support and commitment to one Nigeria and her territorial integrity to be perpetually indivisible, and to declare on oath never again to participate in anything directly or indirectly that will remotely be connected with the armed rebellion against his motherland. But we did not hear that from Ojukwu. What we heard was that there was understanding between the president and Ojukwu. This then raises the question as to who is Ojukwu. As who was he admitted into Ribadu Road? As who was he dining with the vice president? Does it mean that no crime counts as long as people are committed to this administration and the MPN, end quote? Does reconciliation mean paying homage to the rebel, to the insult of the dead, the maimed, the crippled, the orphans, the widows created by the rebel? I repeat, we are not against giving Ojukwu a pardon. Pardon is the greatest gift we can give Ojukwu, but we must not in the process insult the nation. A search for an ethnic vote must not be at the expense of those who fought and died and were maimed and crippled to give us the privilege to rule and govern this great nation. Mr. President, explain or resign immediately. What Gawan cannot be equated with Ojukwu. One of the most insulting phenomena in the country is the equating of Ojukwu and General Gawan. To equate the two is an insulting false reasoning. What has light to do with darkness? What Nigeria is today is the result of God-inspired stand of General Gawan for one Nigeria. He united the country and laid firmly the foundation for peace, unity, stability, and the brotherhood of all Nigerians. Ojukwu, however, said on January 14, 1970 that, quote, "While I live, Biafra lives. Biafra lives, the struggle continues," end quote. Comparing the above-made statement 13 years ago and what transpired at Enugu Airport, I am scared. It is therefore an insult to the dead, the maimed, the crippled, and all those who stood firmly, at all costs, for the unity of this great country, to admit Ojukwu into the country as head of state. I do not believe a person who experienced and was affected or participated in the tragic events of the war that kept the country together can have the moral courage to equate General Gawan with Ojukwu. Nobody who had stood at the graveside of a young man who had to die, see the compulsory orphans, the widows, the crippled, the maimed because of the civil war, and who today enjoys the fruit of that sacrifice, will have the moral courage to give Ojukwu red carpet reception at the expense of citizens of this country, or equate Ojukwu with Gawan. The trouble is that for some of us, neither our sons, nor our kith and kin, nor somebody remotely connected with us lost a finger or a single hair, nor did we experience a single duration of hardship during the Civil War, and therefore could not feel the pain or experience the evils of Ojukwu's rebellion. What is rather more painful to us is the coup against General Murtala Muhammad. It is so painful and hardly forgivable that anybody who is even remotely connected with it must bear the consequences, while a man who took up arms against his motherland and drenched the land with blood of the innocent brothers and sisters and rendered thousands into the vegetables for the rest of their lives is brought into the country at the expense of all of us who have to feed the maimed, the crippled, the orphans, the widows, interminable wounded. Yes, Ojukwu is brought into the country at the expense of all of us who have to live and pass through life with the sorrow and the pain of the Civil War. Mr. President, why? Why increase the pain? Why make our tragedy unbearably painful? Is a particular ethnic vote worth that much? Mr. President.